Hey y'all, this is Mara, and today I have with me Wesley Watkins from Watkins Group Insurance and Benefits Specialist. Wesley, how you doing?
Doing great, Maura. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Okay, so everything going on in this world, how has your company adjusted or changed things to basically a virtual or an online platform?
Right. So 98% of my meetings prior to the coronavirus were outside of my office. And also, most of those meetings involved more than 10 people because we were the ones illustrating employee benefits to employees in a big group setting in most settings. So our world totally got flipped on its head whenever this stay at home came out, as well as social distancing. However, that did not mean that our business stopped. We're very fortunate here in our business, and as you see the phone's ringing, sorry, but very fortunate in our business that we can be versatile, very agile. And so immediately, what I turned to was more of a virtual setting for our meetings. Now, how do you do that when you have 200, 300 employees, even 20 employees or 15 employees in your company? That can be difficult and challenging, especially when some employees don't have the electronic means or capabilities to have a meeting. So it can be very challenging. However, one of the things that we immediately started was videos. Instead of me physically being in front of, let's say 50 employees in an employee benefits meeting, we were able to simply distribute a one pager to those employees, whether it be because they're at home, so maybe by mail. Email was preferred, electronic means, and so they would immediately get that one pager that described, okay, go to this site, click on this hyperlink, or scan this QR code, which is not complicated at all. And they could then go to their employee benefits meeting. And I actually started meetings through Loom by recommendation of my marketing group. Started meetings through Loom, which is very similar to Zoom, but they were recorded meetings. And also those meetings can be password protected, and for security purposes and HIPAA purposes, it was just a perfect environment for us. But we were able to have online meetings and still conduct our business in the way that we saw fit for our clients. And I'll tell you, it was different. It absolutely was different for companies, small and large, to get used to. But I'll tell you, smiling faces were the result at the end of every process. So it was not something that it was, oh, well, I guess we have to settle for that. It actually was an enhancement in most cases to that whole process. So instead of just temporarily adopting a process in our company, we're permanently adopting those processes for some of our clients, which is a wonderful enhancement and benefit for those clients. So things are changing. But one thing that we did not do was try to buck the system or try to really go against change. So I embraced the change and was able to adopt new processes in place in our business, especially when you have 90+% of your meetings in front of people that are within 6 feet of each other. That made it very challenging, but it was very beneficial in the end result.
That's incredible. So you're not only changing for what's important currently, but the ability to do that in the future is also, that's great. That's incredible.
Yeah, so we actually have online platforms for benefits enrollment where a lot of companies really kind of handle things by paper, just because it's more familiar. It's what they've done in the past, so it's what worked. However, we've had some companies actually go to an online platform for their benefits enrollment where on your iPhone or on your Android, you can elect your health insurance and dental insurance. It's really cool and kind of techy, but I'll tell you, where some clients were apprehensive of, man, I don't know if I want to do that. I just we just like paper. Just give us a sheet of paper and we'll turn it back in. You have some companies that committed to it, really embrace it and go, wow, why didn't we do this before? The option was there, and I don't push that on clients. We're going to do things that are best for the client, but I'll tell you, it can be very beneficial for some clients, and some clients have really seen that beneficial process. And so it's really been fun and good. It hasn't involved my company more man hours as far as that goes. I still go to my meetings, if you will, and still conduct my meetings. They're just recorded. And then I get to see how many people view those meetings. And so I get some good feedback on that as well.
That's really cool. Okay. So at the beginning, I did not give a brief description of what you and your company do. So if you could do that.
Sorry. So what my company does is employee benefits and health insurance for all size companies as well as individuals, including Medicare and individual policies. But our main revenue stream is employee benefits, such as health insurance, dental insurance, life insurance. We also help companies of all sizes manage compliance. There are new laws that just came out of the federal government through the CARES Act and through this coronavirus, the Emergency Medical Leave Act, and things like that, that involve employers and require employers of small companies to do certain things. Post posters in their company, like they post their minimum wage posters. Also, they can send it electronically, but things that a 20-person company or a 10-person company or even a 5-person company never had to do before, they're required to do now. So who knows that when you're a 5-person company and you're the owner and the human resource specialist and the IT specialist and the marketing specialist, you're the everything in a small group. The average size group in central Louisiana is 8 employees. In Louisiana, it's 10 employees. 80% of this country is made on small businesses. So small businesses especially, but also any size business, they need a good team. And we function as that team member that can help them with the employee benefits, the compliance part, the human resource department. We don't rely on our own knowledge, and I don't have a staff of lawyers sitting behind me, but we have those resources to those lawyers that develop those materials to where we can easily provide those resources for employers who couldn't otherwise afford or provide the resources for themselves.
That's great. Okay. And a good summary too.
Oh, thanks.
I know we've had this conversation at length previously, so that was a great summary.
So I probably said it enough to you guys. So absolutely, we're kind of honing in on, okay, how do we give what we do without being in front of a person and in that elevator pitch and sitting across a desk from a CEO or a CFO. Just that conversation alone is hard to do when you're not in person. So it took a little bit, but we're getting there.
Okay, so talking about what you just mentioned, there's so many things out there right now that companies need to know about. Obviously, you can't share all of that right now, but what are some things that companies can do? So we have that 5-person company, that 20-person company, even that 500-person company. What should they be doing right now?
Building your team. So whether you are a large company and you have a lot of in-house personnel in human resources, or you don't, build a team. It doesn't mean you have to sacrifice if you don't have the human capital or the payroll to build that team. Build your team of people in human resources, in compliance, in your employee benefits. Absolutely have that personnel or that team built. That's the first thing you need to do. Get a trusted person and knowledgeable person, advisor, to help you in this whole process of compliance. And what do you need to do when? Because you're not going to know it all. Nobody knows it all. I own businesses and I don't know it all. I build a good team. So number one, build a good team. Number two, if I had to pick kind of a checkoff list, is you need to go to those websites and those resources that really will slap a fine on you, if you will. What do you have to comply with? So who makes you comply? Well, the federal government makes you comply in a lot of ways if you're a business. You have certain employment laws to adhere to. You have certain things you have to do. The Department of Labor would be a perfect resource. You need to go to the Department of Labor. You need to go during coronavirus, you need to go to the actual CDC, the Centers for Disease Control. They have a website, a very resourceful website. You need to go to, if you're a member of an association such as the Human Resource Management Association, the Society for Human Resources, they call it SHRM. If you're a member of that, go to those resources and help build that knowledge. What do I need to do and when? There are some things that you do have to do by a certain date, as in April 1st, and it's already after April 1st. One of the things, I was talking to one of my advisors this morning, and all of a sudden, as a business owner, on a personal level, this person said, hey, do you know that you're still required to pay your state estimated taxes for 2020, and they're due tomorrow? Tomorrow. So I just stopped in my steps. I was walking, and I said, are you kidding me? I thought that was delayed until July. He said, no, just federal. This is state. And the state of Louisiana, let's say, did not extend that. Oh my goodness. You need to build your team. You can't know it all. So a tax person, a benefits person, a human resources person, a compliance person. Now, if you have a way to combine that team into some people, that could be a good thing, as long as you're not sacrificing knowledge and expertise and what you receive. So if you have somebody like our firm here where we can help you with compliance and human resources as well as benefits, that's great. But don't sacrifice quality for that. So that's the first thing that I would do, is reach out, build your team. And then if you say, well, look, I have my team, but I still need to be the go-to person on certain things, then absolutely know where you need to go, know where you need to comply, Department of Labor, and those other things.
And there's so much changing, weekly, daily basis. Keep those websites right in front of you.
Yeah.
Or talk to your agent.
I talked to my brother-in-law who owns a business as well. And the one thing that really stays consistent is change. It is constant. So whether you're in a business like mine that does employee benefits, or you're in a car dealership, or you're in a construction business or a medical clinic, absolutely the constant and consistent thing in any business is change. Now, probably you would announce your retirement if you say, hey, I'm not changing this. I'm not doing this. Okay, well then just announce your retirement, right? So you really need to be able to adapt to the changing world. And the more you can adapt, the better off you'll be in most things in business. But absolutely, just like I had to adapt in that one simple way through this current environment that we're in, you have to learn to adapt. Could I have really gone a different route and said, no, we're not doing it? Yes, many benefit brokers are not doing what we're doing. I don't know how they're doing what they're doing, but many are not. And, you know, I do really refer to that as a stick your head in the sand type concept. When Obamacare came around in 2010, we could have gone a different route, and we didn't. We adapted to the change, and we became the expert in a huge law that, whether we agreed with it or not, or whether we loved it or not, and all the aspects, it doesn't matter. People rely on us to get those details right and to get the expertise that we need to help build your team and to help advise your company on how to work efficiently.
Well, from me, thank you for adapting to the change. That's incredible. And the way that the examples that you gave of how this isn't just a temporary thing, this is something you're going to use in the future, for those who want it. That's great. And it's a good perspective to have with everything going on, to be able to not just change because you have to, but change for the better of your company and for your clients as well. So that's great. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, Maura. Yeah, no problem. Anytime. And I'm glad to help out.
All right. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.